Hi everyone, in this video I'm going to show how I did this drawing of a dragonfly in graphite. Now when I'm working on the eye of any animal, it's initially just the size and shape of the eye that I'm concerned about. I don't care about the detail, I'm not worried about the contrast, the values, apart from if there is a very bright highlight, I will always allow the white of the paper to be visible if I can. And I say if I can because if the portrait size is quite small and the eye is very small, then I won't necessarily be able to do that. So in those situations, I will put my layers of graphite in place and then I will use an eraser to pull that highlight back over the top. And working with erasers is something that I do throughout the layering process. I don't just save them for the last layers and those brighter details. In many situations, I will use an eraser and then deliberately darken that highlight so that I'm capturing more of my midtones. You will see that at times here in this drawing. When I'm building in my very first layer, I always like to work with graphite powder first. I've got a few different tutorials here on YouTube where I'm explaining the benefits of graphite powder in projects that are larger and where that process is more established. Because this drawing was something I only wanted to get done in a couple of hours, this didn't require as much use of the graphite powder just simply because it's smaller. I did have to rely on my graphite pencils to tidy up my values. The pencils, of course, allow us to be far more delicate and refined with where all of those values are placed. Now, the placement of a highlight and shadow is never random. It does follow the structure under the skin. This is a lot easier to notice when we're drawing fur or feathers, but even on something like this where we might have a shine on the top of the back, that might indicate where the wing is attached. Everything here will have a knock-on effect to the level of realism that is captured. As I'm starting to build in the values on the body, you'll notice that I'm already capturing more of this rounded shape, and that is because I'm capturing my values with my range of darks, midtones and highlights, but that I am getting those in the right place. I don't have to get every single one of them correct. I do want to pick the main ones on a smaller drawing like this. I don't have space to add everything. But by making sure that I'm being as accurate as I can at the very first foundation stage, I am going to be able to more easily follow my reference photo. When working with a high level of realism, that can be a game changer to how much stress and that overwhelming feeling we experience as we progress through a drawing. At any times when I'm drawing something that potentially might be quite confusing, like the patterns in the wings here, I do like to establish either some shapes, highlights or shadows, or a line, something that does identify a very specific area that I'm looking at in the reference photo. If I can pinpoint that in my drawing, I'm not going to have as much of that hesitation when I'm looking at my photo and back at my drawing. If I'm having any opportunity where my brain is starting to think, where am I? It's all confusing. I'm not really sure where to start. I'm probably looking at too much of a larger area. So if I take 1 or 2 square inches and I pick out a couple of things there that I notice first, I'm less likely to experience those feelings and then progress through that drawing more effectively. There are, of course, many different ways to get to the same end, and working in whole individual layers does work if that's easier for your brain to process that image. But if you are starting to feel really quite stressed and everything is becoming a bit too much, whether or not we feel we're adding in too much detail too soon, the values need to be corrected, whatever it may be, then working in small areas in that moment in time can help. As I'm starting to continue with the body and building in my values, I do want to try to capture that cylinder shape. The way that that progresses down to more of that point is something that I do want to capture. It's very distinctive for the dragonfly. If I don't have my values correctly placed, then this is going to look very, very flat. I want to have that change of value and lighting. With how I've been working in small sections and gradually piecing this puzzle together, I could technically have a break at this point and feel mentally very motivated to come back to the easel and finish it, because this is already a high level of realism and will look like that photo. That is something that can be incredibly encouraging, and that is one of the main reasons why I do like to work this way. When I started working on the wing, I knew that this was a potential where you could start to overthink the process. Everything can become very, very confusing. But what I'm always telling myself with something like this for a smaller portrait is not every line on the wing pattern has to be in exactly the same place to the reference photo. We of course want to get it as close as we can, but what I'm focusing on here, for example, is the slight diagonal of that line rather than it being vertical. I don't want to sit there counting all of them. That really isn't necessary for what I want to achieve for this. If that level of realism was my goal, then I would need to work much, much larger. So as I am going to progress through the wing portion of this drawing, the lower wings are where I'm going to give more tips for the patterns, because the top wings actually had more of the light shining through, so it gave it more of a shimmery effect, and in some cases can block out the patterns that we see. However, that doesn't mean that I can rush through this process. I'm wanting to capture the value. I want to capture the softness. If any edging of the wing is slightly blurry, then I want to use my graphite powder. The eye makeup applicator was a good option here to give me that slight hazy finish to the very edges. That will eventually help to push the top wings further back and give more perspective and additional focus on the face. But when it came to working on the lower wings, this is where I wanted to, yet again, strip this back to my main lights and darks first. In many cases, like portions of these wings, we just need to have the white of the paper showing. If there is a very strong light source that's going through that transparent layer, then we want to capture that. We don't want to add a layer of darker graphite if it shouldn't be there. So the first priority was to pinpoint, are there any darker values at any points on the wings? And in this case, there were on the very edges and the tips. So that's where I started. By putting in this initial layer, I'm already now visualizing that reference photo and replicating what I know I'm certain of right from the beginning. Once that's done, then I can use a HB pencil here just to simply map in the initial main lines that I see. I cannot stress enough that it's not important about getting each of these delicate patterns millimetre perfect, not for this size drawing. But instead, it's the curve, the diagonal structure of the darker, slightly thicker lines that are going to help build up more of this realism. Because, like what I was saying with the placement of a highlight and shadow, the way that these darker lines on the wing are curved is going to build that wing structure and shape. But getting all of these smaller, delicate patterns millimetre perfect and drawing every single one is not going to enhance the level of realism. It will have the opposite effect. But what I do want to capture is the size difference. So you can see that I'm moving my pencil here fairly loosely. I'm not trying to get that completely perfect. But I have got the accurate shaping in terms of at the tip of that wing where it's more pinched and narrow, those shapes are significantly smaller. Whereas as it broadens up on this slightly wider channel, you can see that there are less lines, but the shapes are bigger. So it's having this variation, rather than trying to draw and count every single line, it's about capturing the variation of the size of that pattern that's going to help improve and increase that level of realism. And as I've continued to put in that pattern, you can really see how that has been more established with the larger shapes. But one thing I do also want to mention here, because this is very important, you'll notice that the lines, that pattern towards this back section of the wing are lighter and it is darker in the centre and the tip of the wing. This is going to really help yet again with the shape of the wing and the light source. If the light is capturing more of that shimmer to the wing, then the lines aren't going to be as obvious. So adjusting how much pressure we're using on the pencil, maybe using a slightly harder lead, going from a HB to a 2H for example, having that variation is going to really make a difference to the contrast when the drawing is finished. One of my biggest tips at this stage is if you do feel like you're getting tired, your eyes are a bit strained, then take a break, come back to it, because it would be a real shame if maybe the last 10 to 15 minutes of a drawing brought down the level of realism for the entire piece. The last section that I needed to add here was the twig, and technically I probably should have drawn this first because it is behind the wings. but I wanted to get that complex wing pattern in first because I knew that was something that could potentially cause far more confusion. So I decided to get that wing done. I knew then that the bulk of that was already in place, and I have now worked on this graphite powder layer, but it has softened some of the wing pattern. So what I'll have to do here is just come back with my HB, maybe a 2B if needed, and then go over those wing patterns. You can still see them, so it's not completely time wasted, but this has meant that I have given myself an extra job that I wouldn't have had if I had drawn the twig initially. But it doesn't really matter here because I haven't impacted the level of realism in the end result of my drawing. You know, this finished portrait, it looks like the twig has been drawn first, and that's fine. But if I was to simplify this process even more, then drawing the twig first would have been one of those options. So I do hope this video has been useful. If it was, I would be really grateful if you could give it a like and a thumbs up. It makes a huge difference to my channel. I do also upload a couple of videos to YouTube every week, so if you would like to get notified of that content, then don't forget to hit the subscribe and the bell button. If you have any art related questions, feel free to pop them in the comments. I'm always happy to help if I can. And if you would like to draw along to the real-time version of this Dragonfly tutorial, I will link all of the information to that in the description below. I will be uploading another video next week, but as always, thank you so much for watching.